Guardian Angel Surveillance Squad. It seemed for a while that you would manage to get all of the pirates, but evidently one of the guard ships from the Guardian Angels has slipped away. Luckily, your scanners seem to have gathered enough information to give you its approximate destination. Think we can do it in a catalyst? 3 jumps away in Covrin. I don't know if we're going to research it or we're just going to fly in and try and do it. We have 24 hours to think about it. Now let's see what's in this wreck. A little underwhelming. They can't all be winners. You know what? We don't have anywhere else to be. Let's go try this expedition right now. This is Bill. Bill wants to build a Cynabal and join the Angel Cartel cause in Zarzak, but he's not making it easy on himself. Quick recap. We got this Guardian Angel Surveillance Squad expedition by running a provisional Serpentis outpost unrated combat signature, which can be found with core scanner probes anywhere in Galen Losec. These unrated combat signatures are often seen as the sort of undesirable step cousin of the more coveted DED rated combat signatures, but though the unrated sites don't have the guaranteed loot drops of the DED sites, I still think they're absolutely worth running, at least some of them. Now, as we saw in the last 8 minutes of episode 34, and I'll put a link in the description below if you missed it, we can run a provisional Serpentis outpost in a Tech 1 blaster fit afterburner catalyst like Catherine here. It's a little bit tedious because the NPC groups in that site tend to spawn 100 kilometers plus away from each other, and that's a long flight with an afterburner. So if you can run them in something with longer range guns or with a micro warp drive, you'll do it faster, but this ship can complete it, and it only costs 4.4 million ISK. The real question at hand now is, will Catherine be able to complete the expedition? So unlike with the anomalies escalating to DED sites, when you get an expedition from an unrated combat signature, each one has a chance to escalate further, and often the full chain is like 5 or 6 sites long. Because it's only a chance each time, most of the time you won't get the full chain, but you'll get 2 or 3 sites out of it, with faction spawns likely in each one. Now again, like with the DED escalations from anomalies, this expedition is just for me. I can of course be combat scanned down in space, but nobody can scan this site with core probes or anything. So I'm totally safe in here unless I see combat scanner probes on D-scan. Okay, that's a fair number of people, but there is a faction cruiser right on grid. Let's take out these destroyers as quickly as we can, because if these destroyers apply DPS to us, then we're going to be in trouble. And then we'll get in orbit around this battle cruiser. And there's an acceleration gate. That's interesting. And there's a faction spawn on the outside of the acceleration gate. Makes me wonder if there's going to be another one inside. We're taking some damage from the faction cruiser, even though he's 20 kilometers away, although he's mostly missing us. The artillery, the destroyer, is doing the most damage to us right now, so now that he's close, we'll deal with him. Turn on our armor up for a second. Good, deal with this battle cruiser. Pretty straightforward. Now let's go catch this faction cruiser in our webs. Catherine is indomitable. This is definitely not destroyer-designed content, but we're not having any trouble. Taking a fair bit of damage as we close range. We didn't bother manually piloting because I was pretty confident we'd be able to tank it. And now that we're entering an orbit, we should find ourselves getting missed immediately. Yeah. Oops. We're not entering an orbit, we're just ramming him. But nonetheless, he's going down very fast. Oh! That is surprising to me. We got the next step of the expedition, and we didn't even go through that gate. The station databanks contain information on the local Guardian Angel security network, and among it, a location of yet another station similar to this one. That is your best clue as to where the ships that fled as you entered have gone. No ships fled as we entered, I didn't think. Were there more ships here? I'm gonna have to look at the recording. I don't think there were any more ships here. And the big question is, do we risk going through the gate? Again, not super rewarding. The compact mag stab is the most valuable thing in here to us for sure. Okay, we're gonna set destination to Galicienne. Okay, and we're gonna pop our head through this gate and just see what's inside. If there's another faction cruiser in here, then we'll try and kill it. If there's not, we will probably just run for our lives and carry on with the next stage of the expedition. The reward of one of these expedition stages is usually a faction ship and a chance for another expedition, and we already got both of those. Okay. Yeah, we don't need this. We do not need any part of this. Look at all those guys. And none of them are faction. They're all just trouble. Okay, on to Galicienne. Avo and Galicienne are part of a weird little Losec pocket behind Stakmon, not connected to the rest of Losec. I actually looked at this pocket as a potential place to live back when I was considering moving from Manar, but it's just too limited. But it does look like it's usually very quiet, which makes me feel pretty good about jumping in here blind in a destroyer and going to run this site. Hopefully this isn't a fresh surprise saying, destroyer shall come no further. That was a lot of bad guys. I guess we just got a little glimpse of inside there. And there's another Shadow Serpentis. This is the same as last time. So again, take out the infantry. Yeah, there's another Shadow Serpentis cruiser right here. Just waiting for us. So what we're going to do is we're going to kill this stuff on the outside, and we're going to hope for another escalation. We are not going into... Okay, this guy's getting close to us. Okay, things are different here. This faction cruiser is blaster fit. Burned right into our face, doing a ton of damage to us. We're going to have to try and take him out really fast. Bookmark the wreck. And then warp out of here. We got another escalation too. Next stage, Shadow Serpentis down. Just sniped him. Got out of there. So we can just give it a minute to make sure that those ships in that acceleration gate has despawned, and then we can warp back in, loot the wreck, and then head on to Harul. Oh, these guys are still here. Okay, well, we're landing on the wreck at 0, so we'll just loot it and get back out. Shadow Serpentis remote tracking computer. Nope. Shadow Serpentis EM energized. Well, that's definitely more stuff, even if it's not useful to us. This whole chain of events here with the Guardian Angel Surveillance Squad is really leading us all around in a pretty big series of distractions away from our original scan the Albraz area looking for gas signatures and data sites plan. But exploration is full of surprises. Okay, we are not going straight to Ostengel. We're going Dastrans first, because the Stakmon Ostengel gate is one of the most camped gates in the game. Are we going to be able to run this whole chain in a destroyer? I would be very surprised. Okay. Are these guys all right here? Try and pull some range. We need to get out of this cluster right away. I see some elite frigates there, and I'm concerned about them potentially having points. And there's some elite cruisers as well. And the Shadow Serpentis guy is rushing us. Okay, maybe trying to pull range was a mistake. We are pulling range on almost everyone, though. Okay, this is good. This is good. The damage, incoming damage is dropping. The one elite frigate is chasing us. And he's the only one who we're not leaving behind. Okay, now the Shadow Serpentis is intermittently micro-warp driving to us as well, but that's actually great. If we can fight just the Shadow Serpentis by pulling him away from his friends, and maybe these 2 or 3 elite frigates, that's a totally winnable fight for us. It's fighting them in the midst of all those cruisers and battle cruisers that would just be insurmountable. I'm going to just keep flying away from them until all of those cruisers and battle cruisers and destroyers are far enough away that I think I can turn and fight these guys and kill them before the rest of the DPS catches up. And I'm going to kill those elite frigates first, I think, because I'm worried about them scramming me. It's actually hard to say whether it makes more sense to go for the elite frigates first or just to go straight for the Shadow Serpentis. He zooms in close, I'll go for him. Okay, the Shadow Serpentis is burning in. We're going for it now. I'm going to orbit this guy, get web on him, hopefully take him down. And then if we need to, we can warp out, as long as we don't get scrammed immediately by the elite frigs. Okay, this guy's getting close now. The Corelli Guardian Initiative is close. No one's pointed us yet. Shadow Serpentis down. Save location. Submit. Let's just loot it now. Get out of here. It looks like the Serpentis executive vessel the Angels were escorting got away during the fight. Your instruments have no problem tracing where it is coming from. This wailing is extremely irritating, aggravating in fact, the Muzak of Doom. Back in Kovrin. The adventure continues. And I saw that we got another Shadow Serpentis kinetic coating. Slightly more useful. Oh, we got Guardian Iron Charge. There's two different levels of faction ammo. The Shadow is the lower level and the Guardian is the higher level. But Guardian Iron is still not that much in demand, it doesn't look like. Here we are in Kovrin. Warp 2 site. What, this is our 4th stage of expedition? This is our 5th site from that one signature? With Shadow faction cruisers in every one? This is why combat signatures, unrated combat signatures, are so interesting. And maybe this isn't even the end of the chain, I'm not sure. I probably should have Googled it. Okay. There's nobody here. Jeron? A distant power source far within the adamant rock. Asteroid Station 1. The rest of this is just sharded rock wall lookout tower. I'm guessing Jeron is the target here. Did it say? Muzak of Doom. Nothing about Jeron. Well, we're going to try shooting this Jeron and see what happens. Oh! We don't need to shoot it. We just need to approach it. Okay. This is going to be very difficult for us to survive. What's that? 8 cruisers. Oh wait, no, some of these guys are destroyers. We need to kill the destroyers first. Already in armor. Now we've got to start orbiting these cruisers. We're not webbed or pointed, but I'm not sure if our armor is going to hold. No, we need to get out of here. This is the end of the line for us. We're stuck on an asteroid. Whew. Oh man. I think we dock up and try that again. We took out 2 destroyers and 1 cruiser. I see no good reason we can't whittle them all down. We are going to drop off this loot before we warp back into that meat grinder, though. Not that much of that loot is of value to us, but still, something to show for our adventure. Also, when we warp in this time, I'm immediately going to drop a bookmark, because the warp to site option up here under opportunities only lets us warp to 0 at the site. But if we drop a bookmark once we're in there, we can warp to that bookmark at any distance. I'm gonna have to be more mindful of the station hazards, because I did last time get caught on one of those asteroids, possibly on Jeron, when I was trying to warp out. And I'm getting caught in this bunker now, which puts my traversal down, makes me easier for them to hit, The bumping is what's killing me. Okay, but now I've got a bookmark. I can not warp to 0. Maybe less bumping this time. Okay, warp to within 20. Close enough that I can get up transversal, but far enough that I can figure out where I want to fly and not bump off of all of that space landscape. Space scenery. It's killing me. I need to find somebody to orbit who's not right next to a bunker or something. Okay, so I think if I go for this guy first... I'm still taking quite a lot of damage. This might actually be the end of the line. We'll see if we're able to stabilize. The armor rep is holding now that we've got like 4 of them down. Those other guys that are still in pretty close to those asteroids though. This guy over here seems engageable. I'm just going to turn on the armor rep off now actually and let my caster recharge a bit. So this is the first wave. I have a feeling that once we attack Jeron, the station there, all hell is going to break loose. And the second wave is going to be scarier than the first wave was, because that's the way these things usually go. So we're going to make sure that our cap has regenerated a little bit before we touch that station, and I think I even want to be aligned out when I fire on it, because we have no idea what we're going to be getting into. You know, it's not really a virtue not to Google these things. I'm wondering if I perhaps should not have run into this blind. I'm fortunate. I'm thankful. Grateful. I'm grateful that it's gone as well as it has. But certainly at any point here, someone could have spawned with a warp disruptor. And we would have been just done for. Losing a destroyer, losing Catherine, wouldn't really set us back very much right now at all. But it's better not to lose ships. Oh, that's nice. Honestly, that stasis grappler. One of the best rewards we've got so far. Nobody's spawning yet. I'm gonna loot these wrecks while our capacitor recharges. Oh, that's nice. And then I think I'm gonna pop over to the Eve University wiki and actually see what happens when we shoot Jeron here. So we can be prepared. Okay, so I'm pretty glad that I looked at the Eve University wiki. It looks like as we attack Jeron, there are multiple waves that are going to spawn at various levels of structure. And most of them look to be about equivalent to what we just fought, although some of them do have elite frigates in them that warp disrupt. So we need to be aware that we need to kill those immediately when they spawn. The other thing that's worth knowing, though, is that apparently when we first attack Jeron, it starts smart bombing, and then it stops smart bombing once you leave grid. So you can attack Jeron, start the smart bombs, leave grid, come back, and not worry about them at all. And I'm really glad that we learned that right now. Because while a smart bomb won't insta-pop Catherine, if we just started taking a ton of damage, it might not be immediately obvious that this weird asteroid church is what was doing the damage to us. And it especially would not be obvious to us if we warped off that we could safely warp back. But now that we're armed with that knowledge, we should be able to get in close to the church, align out to somewhere where we will not tangle up on anything. And once we're aligned, we start firing, and if we take smart bomb damage, we bounce. This is definitely the sort of wrinkle that you're dependent on Eve University to let you know. Didn't really see us taking any smart bomb damage there, though. Regardless, we can now warp back in and deal with that first wave, which was just 6 heavy missile batteries. And those missile towers will be no problem for us. They're heavy missile batteries. So cruiser sized. So just having our afterburner on should be enough to avoid most of the damage from them. Whoa! What the heck was that? Okay, so we took the smart bomb damage that time. Is that going to happen every time? Holy moly. Eve University Wiki might have lied to us. It certainly suggested in the text right there that those smart bombs would stop once we warped out and back in. Although we never took damage the first time we attacked Jeron. So I wonder if we warped out too soon. And if now that we've triggered one smart bomb wave and have warped out, we should be safe from any future ones. I'm going to try that one more time. But if I see that smart bomb message again, we are not going back there. I know that we're putting Catherine at a lot of risk here, but we've come so far. Eve University Wiki also said this is the last stage of the escalation. And given how far we've come, I can't just abandon it without being totally sure that there's nothing we can do. Okay. So no crazy smart bomb damage this time. If that smart bomb goes off one more time right now, we're just dead. Okay, the heavy missile batteries are dead. And now we've got to attack Jeron again. I don't want to find out what happens next. I mean, Eve University Wiki says what happens next is 6 to 7 cruisers and 3 to 4 battle cruisers and 3 elite frigates spawn at 50% armor on Jeron. Let us align out to a station before we start firing. Okay, they've spawned. That is too much for us. That is more than... That is a lot more. Way more. Way more than what Eve University Wiki said. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Like 30. Holy crap. We're going to go back in and take another look. We'll warp in at 100 and see what's going on in there. So... some of these sites, some of these exploration sites, these unrated combat signatures are not extraordinarily well documented on the wiki or on Google at all. Some of the articles you will find will be years or even decades out of date. The unrated combat signature expeditions especially are some of the most poorly documented content in the game. You will be surprised. You will be caught off guard. It comes with the territory. We're warping in at 100. Just to put eyes on this site and see if there's anything we can do. All of the elite frigates and destroyers are flying towards us. That's actually really interesting. Can we kite them all away from the site? They're flying in at us. If we can drag all of these guys a few hundred kilometers off of Jeron, that would be pretty interesting. Because then we could warp back to Jeron and finish it off undisturbed. If we can do a little head fake here, we might still have some options available to us. And they're all chasing me. I'm flying away at 650, and they are getting further away only at about 350 to 400. This might just work. It would be insane if it did. I'm gonna turn off the afterburner for a little bit. I don't want to get too far ahead of them, lest they stop chasing me. I wonder if I might have done too much damage to Jeron all at once. Now that I'm looking at it, Eve University Wiki suggested there would be a wave of about 14 enemies when Jeron hit 50% armor, and a wave of about 14 enemies when Jeron hit 25% armor. And I may have done 50-25 in like one blap. And that might be what I'm reaping right now. So the spot where Jeron is 160 kilometers away. And these guys are still chasing me. The nearest ones are 80 kilometers away, and the furthest ones are 143. So I've already opened up like a 20 kilometer buffer of safety around Jeron. I feel like if I just keep flying away for a good 15 minutes, I can just park these guys 200 kilometers away from Jeron and warp back in there safely. Okay, I am 300 kilometers from Jeron. I'm gonna drop a bookmark here, and then we can warp back and forth between this bookmark and Jeron, and all of these guys who are halfway in between should be stuck there. We've trapped them all in that no man's land. Yeah, no one's within 100 kilometers of us. How's Jeron doing? We're gonna line back to our 300 kilometer spot. We're gonna put our DPS on Jeron. Okay. Jeron is down. And when Jeron died, Marin Matola spawned, who is our target. This is the storyline faction cruiser. And then 4 elite frigates in league with Marin Matola. We need to separate her from them. She's flying in at a pretty good clip, though. So if we can warp back to 320. Once she gets out to like 50 kilometers away from that dot, we can warp back to it at 50. I'm trying it. We're going in. We're going to try and snipe Marin Matola. We're going to preheat our guns. Watch this warp. Okay, we've landed right on her.
I'm about to go off like a weapon. Fuel to the top, got a filled up engine. In my thoughts, obsession. I will not stop, no, I'm never second guessing. I got a God complex. Haters love to hate, but I never feel pressed. Got a lot on my plate, but I never get stressed. I'll take all the pressure like I'm acing this test. Tear it up like I'm Jason. I see the world like it's ready for
the Guardian veterans are burning in, and they're going to warp disrupt us. They want to burn out our guns.
It's my way, I was born impatient. And like a damn Freemason, I'll run this nation.
Go down. We're lining out to our spot. For a while there, you almost wished you had brought more friends with you, and you were relieved you managed to blow the station apart before more could scramble against you. You were also relieved you managed to kill off that blasted gurgle sound permanently. Guardians are Angel Surveillance Squad down in a Tech 1 destroyer in a catalyst. Marin Matola says in local, "No, you've just ruined years of research. I can't believe it. You will pay for that, mongrel." It's done. Now we can just sneak in and scoop that wreck. I think we can just warp off and let this site despawn. I'm going to dock up for a second, and we'll come back here in about 5 minutes. Oh, man. Tactics. I did not think that was going to be possible. But we stretched them all out. Stretched them all out until Marin Matola was just in that little spot by herself, and a tactical on-grid warp. All it took. Easy peasy. Okay, it's been, what, 15 minutes? Let's see if all of, what's her name, Maren Matola's entourage has despawned, and we can safely see what she dropped for us. Hopefully there's something good in there. Jeron is gone, the site is despawned, Maren Matola's wreck is ripe for the taking. If this is just like Shadow Iron Charge 1000, I'm going to be a little annoyed, but that was fun. Honestly, I'm satisfied regardless of what we see when we open this can. Huh. All right, Maren Matola. I don't regret killing you. Thanks for watching. If you haven't subscribed yet, please consider doing so. Every pirate faction has an equivalent provisional outpost, and each of those outposts can escalate into a surveillance squad. There are slight differences between the surveillance squad expeditions for each faction, but they are broadly similar, and you should be able to use the same tactics in a Tech 1 destroyer to run any of them.